Welcome back to Punchlines. I am your host, Shane McMurdo. We are the official podcast of Adams, the number one boxing boot in the business. We're wrapping up our end of year, beginning of 2023 show. And today, or for this segment, I'm joined, if you've been following us for a while, two people you should know. If not, it's my friend and former co-host and still every once in a while co-host, still a major boxing fan, still kicking it out in the what the fuck is like the Philly, Delaware area called? Is there like a nickname for it?
We'll call it Philly.
Just Philly? Yeah. Just chilling. Fucking got your son Liam going. He was actually born back in May, right?
He was born April 28th. Eubank's been ducking him since May.
Yeah. And he's already got the trucks. He was born while this show was going on and everything. And so
he's probably made an appearance.
He's made a few appearances, actually. Yeah. And so is our other person joining us, who was our very first guest on the show, and I was still doing it from my friend's bedroom in Vegas, and he's been on it when I was doing it in my own bedroom here in Boise, and now he's been on it when I'm doing it in this professional studio that's definitely not just another room in my house. But he is the American Boxing Federation West Regional Champion at 140 pounds, the nephew of Felix Tito Trinidad, and one of my very good friends. And this is, I don't even know how many times he's been on this show, a lot, but yeah. I can't say his nickname because I'm white as fuck, but he's Joey Borrero, and his nickname basically means son of God, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is it again?
El Hijo de Dios.
Yeah, I have no fuck clue what you just said, bro.
God, you're so white.
I'm too white, bro. Which is funny because I've lived with Mexicans. I'm best friends with Mexicans. I've dated Cubans. I can't speak Spanish for shit. I can order tacos without sour cream, though. That's it. Sin crema. You know what I'm saying?
You learned something. That's good, though. You learned something. Bro.
Yeah, bro. Chi-chis. I love chi-chis. Yeah, that's always Culo is nice. Bro, but you got that belt on your shoulder. It's nice to see. We've been following your fights. Also, I should post that clip too for if people that don't know you. So I can't remember when it was, but we had Joey on a few months ago. Well, almost like 8 or 9 months ago now, and he was fighting some guy. And Mike pulled him up what he looked like, and I just roasted the dude for like 5-10 minutes.
The coke dealer.
Yeah, bro, the bad coke dealer. But and then let's not make fun of anymore. Joey already beat him, so the damage was done. And he also said he was a really nice guy, so I felt kind of shitty. But whatever, dude. It's not my fault. He looked like a guy cocaine man. Joey, what's next for you though? You got a fight coming up?
Yes, sir. February 25th out here in the Border Theater, Colorado. We're fighting for the ABF title. I'm at 140, the United States national title. And we're fighting against Tomas Ornelas. He's 5-3. You know, he's a local prospect here in Colorado, but so am I. So, you know, we're out here just going to go and work hard and take that win. You know, all glory to God first.
You looking forward to 2023?
Oh, yeah, big time, bro. 2023, it's good. Definitely going to be my year. You know what I mean? And that's what we're expecting to make big moves in the world of boxing, what's called in the like ESPN, Top Rank, the Zone, any big network that gives us the opportunity to fight on, then we're making some noise.
Hell yeah, bro. I can't wait. I'm excited for it. And before we get to 2023, we gotta close out 2022. It's been a really good year for boxing. Not a great year. It's hard to match because what 2021 gave us. 2021 gave us some really special moments in the sport. But 2022 has been full of some pretty good ones themselves. And we're just gonna go back. We call it awards, but it's not really awards. It's all just our own personal picks, just recapping the year that has been 2022 for boxing. So we're just going to take some turns here. We're going to start with fight of the year. your guys' own personal picks. What was your favorite fight of the year in 2022? Mike, let's start with you, bro.
All right. I'll say this straight up. I think Serrano Taylor, in terms of the biggest moments, deserves all the credit in the world. But my fight of the year, and it came down to two. It came down to Fundora versus Lubin or Wood Conlon. And I got to go Wood Conlon. I think it had everything. I think back and forth battle, even. You had knockdowns early, you had knockdowns late, and the way it closed. I mean, talk about Ward Gaddy. I'm wearing Archer Gaddy, RIP. But
yeah. RIP.
I think for me, in terms of the best fight of the year, you got to go Wood Conlon. I think it had everything, and the way it closed,
the comeback,
everything, man. I mean, you had Conlon come out early, the Irish hero coming out early, like knocking down Wood, dominating. Then he got knocked into his father's arms. Like, I mean, that fight had everything. That was the fight of the year for me.
And Wood had to knock him out to win.
He had to, and he knew that. His trainer told him that.
Yeah. And it was a scary knockout too. I haven't been that scared over a knockout in a while because he like fell out of the ring. It's not like he was like kind of unconscious.
Over.
Yeah, no,
he was over, knocked out, and then got knocked out of
the ring. Yeah, he was completely unconscious.
Like that fight for me, like I mean, like that Scotty Ward shit, like that fight was incredible, and the way it finished, it's like, oh my god.
And like that Fundora Lubin fight was good too, though.
That's what I mean. Like that fight deserves mention, and I think Taylor Serrano is gonna deserve mention for a lot of things. But in terms of the best fight, just pure fight, pugilism, Wood Conlon.
Yeah, and it was St. Patrick's Day weekend too, so it's kind of
and guess what? The St. Patrick's hero lost.
Yeah, it was a good fight, bro. No, that's yeah, and that's one of those things too. It's up there. It's a contender for fight of the year and knockout of the year. So
100%.
Yeah. Joey, what about you, bro? Any fight?
I want to say Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Personally, I had Amanda winning the fight. You know, I don't see how Taylor won, but that was definitely an entertaining fight. That was back and forth. You know, both sides were going at it. And, you know, it was a great fight for the sport, especially for the women's side of boxing, because you don't see that much aggression or that much push, you know, nowadays in women's boxing. You know, given and taken away that Clarissa Shields is dominating in the girls' boxing division, you know.
Yeah.
But you a fight like Amanda Serrano and Taylor, man, that was a great fight.
They sold out MSG. Like they did it all. They hit the big spot and then they delivered. Like that fight was incredible.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight. And I never thought I would say this, but I agree 100% with what Jake Paul said after the fight. If those rounds were 3 minutes, Serrano gets her out of there.
I agree. Oh, yeah. I think Serrano knocked her out in the mid-round.
Mm-hmm. She almost did.
Dude, round 5, round 6, Serrano had her almost out, gone.
Yeah, and that was a great fight too. And I like both of them a lot.
But the fact that they headline and they sell out MSG like they're Tito Trinidad or Miguel Cotto, like, dude, they sold that place out. It was rocking. And it's a female fight. Huge.
Bro, Joey will tell you Puerto Ricans, the UK fans and the Irish fans and Puerto Rican fans will show up for their people.
Yep.
Me and Shane got Cotto beef now. I'm upset with him.
you people take that out of context. So the post was asking, is there a really good fighter that just never did it for you? And mine's Miguel Cotto and Golovkin. I've never, like, I'll enjoy watching them fight, but I've never gone out of my way to watch them fight. It's usually to watch their opponent. Like, I'll watch a Triple G fight because.
So you're a big Yuri Foreman fan?
No, not really.
No, I'm fucking with you.
You know, but this is the thing. Being Puerto Rican too, bro, I completely agree with you. And you're not the only person that agrees with this, because a lot of people, I was the same, bro. I would hear Miguel Cotto's fighting. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh, Miguel Cotto's going to fight. Like, oh, man, if I caught the fight in the card, or, you know, I was going to watch somebody else and Miguel Cotto fight, that's when I was paying attention. You know, but for a lot of his big fights, I didn't really catch the main fight. I just caught the replays when they were on YouTube available. You know what I mean? He wasn't a fighter either that I would go out of my way to watch.
Yeah.
And Joey, you would know better, right? I mean, like, so, I get it, dude. Like, so, like, Cotto never really captured that Tito audience after Tito left.
Yeah, because the thing about Miguel Cotto, man, and people hold it to him in Puerto Rico is because over there he doesn't show that humbleness. Like Miguel Cotto, he'll be out there. I've seen kids ask him for autographs in Persian, you know, and he asks the kids for money to pay for the autograph, and he won't take picture with some of the people, you know, and he'll be rude. So people don't like that, and you know, you gotta be humble if you want to be a people's champ.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah,
me neither. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Shane, but yeah, we got new news.
But where were we? We were just talking about
fight of the year.
Fight of the year.
Yeah, I all of mine are going to be on the episode with Carlos Adams, but that segment's more for him and the brand anyway. We just had a discussion, but my pick for fight of the year is like, I'm one of the few people that'll pick it because you two both mentioned one of the more commonly named fights. Charlo Castaño is another one that's up there, which would be my pick because like I loved watching that fight, but it's like for me, yeah, and it was just a fucking fantastic fight. But for me, like my personal fight of the year is like, what fight did I have the most fun watching? What fight like was I most engaged in? And it was Spence versus Ugas, bro. I fucking loved that fight beginning to end. Like I hated seeing Ugas lose that way, but it's like that was another fight that had everything. You had just a big crowd. The Spence ring walk was fucking dope with Big Tuck and that song Southside Derealist, which is like an anthem for Dallas, and seeing the crowd love it. And then Ugas showed up to fight, you know, like people forget because of the way the fight ended. People forget the first half of that fight was extremely competitive, and Ugas was walking, like actually making Errol step back. There's like at the end of one of the rounds, like Errol was up against the ropes, like in a corner.
No, Errol was wobbled.
Yeah, a few times before the mouthpiece. He got rocked before the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, just seeing Ugas fight through that broken eye and still fight back and then never giving up. Like I loved that fight for some reason. Not necessarily the result, and for a lot of the fight it wasn't competitive because Spence really did just start just destroying him at the end. But I don't know. I just thinking back to it, I had so much fun watching that fight and I enjoyed it a lot.
I remember talking to you that night and like how fired up you were with how good like Ugas was doing too. Like, I mean, it was a great fight. I agree, but I think it's like you picking that as fight of the year. I think you're kind of standing on an island there.
Oh yeah, but it's whatever. I don't care. Like it's not most like it's just fight of the year. Like I had to decide what fight do I remember having the most fun watching, and it was that one. But like it's definitely I loved the Charlo Castaño fight too. It was a very close second for me.
You know what? I'll throw an honorable mention in there too. Remember Chocolatito when he turned back the clock before the Estrada fight?
Oh, when he fought that kid that
was it Martinez?
That's his name. The same dude that should have just lost again recently to that Spaniard dude.
But still, like, the guy was favored as like 2-1. And Chocolatito, the thing with him was he was the first pound for pound after Floyd. So no one ever gave him the respect. No one followed him. He is beyond his prime now, still competing with the best in the world. Like that guy's a bona fide legend. And watching him turn back the clock and dominate earlier this year, like I love that.
Not just that, but everybody says it anyway. Like boxing's a young man's sport. That weight class, especially, because everybody has cardio and speed for fucking days.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, for real. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention I do want to throw there is Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. That was a good fight, man. That was a great fight where Shakur just dominated.
Here's what I'll say.
And showed what he had.
That was the first day of me being a father, and I remember watching that fight in the hospital room, holding my kid.
That was a dominant Vic. That was a dominant fight. Shakur's so good, bro.
Dude, Shakur
His
is.
boxing IQ is different, bro. It's a
I'm
whole.
a Devin Haney fan. I think Lomachenko might beat Devin Haney. I think Shakur's next up. I think Shakur's unreal.
Oh yeah, he's super unreal.
Shakur is the next Andre Ward. Let me just put it that way.
He's Andre Ward.
The next Andre Ward is Shakur Stevenson.
100%. I agree.
He's cleaner than Andre though too.
Dude, he might have more pop than Andre too at his weight class.
I don't know about that. Andre had underrated. I don't know. I'm a huge Ward. We're talking about my favorite fighter of all time.
Andre's up there for me too.
So it's hard for me not to be biased, but he had more power than people gave him credit for.
And I got that Space Jam purple Andre Ward hat. It's like the greatest thing I own.
I have his shirt from his the fight right before the first Kovalev fight. That's what it was sick too. I got to interview Andre Durrell a few weeks ago. Do you remember him, Joey?
Yeah.
It was so cool. This has been one of my favorite moments of the show so far. I haven't released the episode yet, but whatever. The 6 people who watch this will have a spoiler alert. But I'm shitting on myself. We'll get more than that. But I don't like talking bad about fighters on the show. It's a big rule of mine. And I told Andre that. I was like, I don't like talking bad about fighters, but I don't like people who use PEDs. I really don't. Like, legitimately. I don't mean the Canelo shit, which we can argue all day about if you're on the other side. I mean, like, legitimately take PEDs and
thank you for that.
And a fighter that I hate and that took PEDs and that I really hate too is, and I told Andre Durrell this, as I was like, but I fucking hate Lucian Bute. Like I hated the fact when you guys were all in the Super 6 and he wasn't, and they were still acting like he was the best super middleweight in the world. I've never fucking liked the guy, and he was so happy. He was like, right. So just to be able to talk shit with another fighter about Bute was just such a great moment in my life.
Talk about like that right now. Like fucking a mandatory for a title right now, a major title, is John Pascal, who tested positive for like every drug possible a year ago.
Dude,
you know, and this is
he failed like four drug tests.
He failed like legit all.
See, I'm gonna tell you this much, okay? I agree with something that Mike Tyson said in one of his podcasts, and I'm gonna repeat it. And I completely agree with him. As he said, fighters who take steroids should be pretty much charged with attempted murder when they go into the ring. Because of the simple reason, bro, it's okay if you take steroids for football, basketball, something where you're not having physical contact where it's much, you know. But boxing, bro, you're straight up physical contact the whole way. Like, you're pretty much trying to kill somebody if you're using enhancers, like body enhancers for that stuff, bro.
But that's like, people get mad at bodybuilders for taking steroids, and it's like, who fucking cares?
They're bodybuilding, bro. That's what they do. You know what I mean?
Like, who cares? Like, they're not putting anybody at risk other than themselves.
Yeah.
Like boxing, yeah, dude, that's real bad. And Speaking of crazy rankings, Mike, have you seen the WBA middleweight rankings lately?
Danny Garcia, baby.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else is ranked in the top?
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I legitimately, when the whole Tim Zug, Jamel Charlo thing fell through, one of my dark horse picks for like the fight I want to see was Danny Garcia versus Tim Zug, and I'd love to see that fight.
Yeah.
How the fuck is he ranked at middleweight?
Well, dude, he's ranked 8th at middleweight. Did you see who was ranked? Did you see who's ranked 3rd?
No.
Isn't that Jake Paul?
No, not yet.
Stop it.
He's coming. He's coming. No.
Bro, the WBA gave him a title.
Oh, no, they did. They did, actually. They did give him a title. Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know what for.
So how, like, where do you at on that now? Like, me and Shane have the same problems. Like, I defended Jake forever. He put the work in, whatever. But now it's like, oh, God damn it, I want it to end.
Yeah, it's gone on too long.
Like, I want it to end.
But it's still boxing's fault. Like, I still won't. I won't take the. But the number 3.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's a little weasel fuck. But The number 3 middleweight in the world, according to the WBA, is Sergio Martinez.
What?
He fought 2 months ago.
Against who?
I don't know, but that's the way boxing works, bro.
That's insane to me. And I love Sergio.
Arturo Gatti died 10 years ago. He's probably ranked like 8th in the WBO and like 145.
Bro, they're probably going to offer Joey to fight him in a week.
They might.
Oh man.
Oh my God. But man, enough talking down on these fighters. Let's talk up some fighters. Joey, who's your fighter of the year? What boxer do you think deserves the title of fighter of the year? This was a hard one because not a lot of people have fought more than once.
See, fighter of the year, and just because you said that, I'm gonna go. Like I said, I solemnly agree with Shakur Stevenson, bro. His performance against Oscar Valdez, it was something that made him shine, bro. And I feel like he deserves fighter of the year, not fight of the year, but fighter of the year.
And don't discount what he did to Conceição either.
No, which that was the fact he dominated him.
Yeah. Gold medalist and a guy that went a guy a lot of people thought beat Valdez also. Mike, who's your fighter of the year?
So here's the thing. I would love to give it to Bam Rodriguez. I love the guy. But I think fighter of the year has to be Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bivol beat the face of the sport. And here's the thing. I didn't think he would. I'm a boxing historian. I love reading about it. Love it. Canelo is like, he's the face of the era. And Bivol dominated him. And then not only that, but then went and fought Zerto, an undefeated champion, and made it a fucking one-sided like embarrassment. Like Zerto had no business. He had no business being in the room with fucking Bivol. So for me, the fighter of the year is actually the easiest one for me all year. I got to go Bivol.
Yeah, it's I don't think Joey had a hot take at all by saying Shakur, but I definitely think Bivol deserves it because, like you said, not only did he beat the face of the sport, and a lot of people think that fight was a lot closer than I think you and I do. I really find
you and I talked that entire night.
Yeah, I don't think Canelo. I
Canelo
know
won 3 rounds.
He at most, and I know the guy has a lot of haters. I know he does.
I love him. But
I'm not. I have his hat somewhere. It's not even that. I think it's in here.
I love the guy.
Yeah, I have his shirt. I wanted him. Well, I wouldn't say I wanted him to win. I thought he was going to win. I would have been happy to see him win. But he doesn't win more than 3 rounds in that fight. And then against Ramirez or against Zerto Ramirez, a fight that I thought it was hard to pick for me. It was a 50-50. It was a 50-50 fight to most people.
A lot of
Zerto's a
people
heavyweight.
It was 50-50.
Yeah,
and Zerto would show up. Zerto would fight at 205 pounds at light heavyweight. He would put on 20 pounds on like overnight. It was insane. And
he got worked, bro. He got absolutely worked.
He got beat down.
And I'm not. I know through meeting people now, through doing this podcast, I've heard from a bunch of people though. They're like, dude, I used to see Zerto in camp sparring David Benavidez, and Benavidez would fuck him up. Jesus Christ, Mike, are you okay? Bad hit. It's a rough one. Oh man, bro, you look like Alex Jones right now. They're having good sex and coffins. I don't know what he's saying, but fucking.
That's just me.
Yeah, but Dimitri Bivol, 2 fights against 2 guys that had a combined record of like 101, basically. I'm not going to do the math, but it was. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not far off.
No, it's almost there. Yeah.
And he shared 24 rounds with the 2 of them, and probably won 19 or 20 of them. He's my pick of fighter of the year too, and it's really. I wanted to give it to Bam as well, but I think Bam is like, he's like the next. He's
the
one
next
of the
Canelo.
next. Yeah, he's like Canelo, Loma kind of put together. The way he's sweet. I love Bam, but as dominant as the win was against Rungvisai. That's not as impressive as beating Canelo or Zurdo. And then his last fight was a little bit more competitive than I would have hoped, but I think Bam is in store because that's such a loaded the 115
23.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be fine, bro. But we mentioned a big upset already, and it could even be the answer to this next question. But Mike, what's your upset of the year?
And you're thinking I was gonna say Bivol, right?
Well, no, because you know boxing like the back of your hand. So I'm hoping you don't say Bivol because there's been some other ones that I think were a little bit bigger, but it was definitely the most prominent upset of the year, though. I would say the most known.
So for me, and it's kind of relevant because his name is still around right now, is I think the upset of the year was Chris Colbert.
Yeah, that's mine against Hector Garcia.
And the fact that he got beat by Garcia, and the way he got beat by Garcia too, like that wasn't even a fight. No. Colbert got outclassed, and now people like, I mean, he's fighting Tank, so he's there. But
Garcia,
my upset of the year, yeah, Bivol's an easy pick. I think you've got. Other than that, I mean, you got a few other options, but it ain't sexy, it ain't pretty, but yeah, Chris Colbert being outclassed by Garcia.
Well, here's the thing too, though, because it wasn't for a belt, and Colbert
WBA secondary,
yeah, and Colbert is not a superstar, but he had a following. He had a big following, and he was getting hyped. But dude,
not just that, Bernard Hopkins was a big part of Chris Colbert's career. You know,
he's called Little B-Hop.
Called him Little B-Hop because of that same reason.
And he was on the Netflix show. He was part of that Netflix documentary.
Yeah. And yeah, he got beat from pillar to post pretty much the entire fight, and so much so that people have written him off.
Dude, people forget how good Chris Colbert was, and like if it were Chris Colbert versus Tank, yeah, Tank would be a favorite. But people forget that Garcia beat Colbert, and like this Tank fight's a legit fight.
And Colbert was a minus 1,500 favorite, and Garcia was a last-second replacement.
I don't want to admit to it, but I bet Colbert at minus 1,620.
Dude, I thought Colbert was going to wash him. I
was big on Colbert, man.
I get a lot of shit for this, but I have to admit it. I have to own up to it. But I think I even said it to you. I was like, bro, I think possibly Colbert might be able to beat Shakur. Like I was that big of a believer.
So I've always been huge on Shakur, but Colbert was up there in that conversation 100%.
Yeah, and
100%.
And I don't like. He was trying hard for the first few rounds. He was throwing good combinations, but I think when he saw they had no effect and that Garcia kept coming forward, I think it fucked him up in the head a little bit.
Dude, I think Garcia I think by the time Colbert got to like the last 4 rounds, he goes, "Oh fuck! Even if I'm down, like this guy ain't moving."
Well, I'm gonna tell you, a month before that fight, well, actually about 2 months before that fight, he was Androide, which is Hector Garcia. He was training with Salas, and I was actually helping him for sparring because he was supposedly going to fight in another fight against another opponent. I was helping him during that training camp. And that guy can crack. For a small little guy, he has precise power. What you call that precise power. It's not strong. It's not power that it's going to wow you, but he knows how to land it and where to throw it.
Yeah, and it's consistent too. Like
exactly.
He doesn't throw that wild or knockout power, but he'll bruise you the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was just about to ask if you'd ever train with him, because when I had Omar Juarez on, he was in Vegas. He's originally from Texas, but he was training in Vegas at Rod Santos's gym, where all like a bunch of Dominican guys are. And I was wondering if you'd ever stepped in with any of them. So I'm glad that you actually kind of brought that up organically.
Yeah, I actually helped him, Luis Salazar, and Puello. The
Oh,
champion,
Alberto,
the ABA champion at 140.
the guy that just beat Joel Diaz's guy.
Yeah.
I can never remember his name. He's a fucking fantastic fighter. He had a great fight with Mario Barrios. But yeah, Puello's good. There's a few good Dominicans, bro. And another one who also could have scored upset of the year. I don't know if it's what's your pick of upset of the year, real quick?
My pick of upset of the year. See, I want to give my view because my upset of the year is not, a lot of people might not agree with it, but I would definitely say Nonito Donaire versus Inoue #2. Just because of an upset that you see a legend on the come up, he's 40 years old. He's upsetting all these younger fighters, and then he fights again. He gets a second chance at the fight he was looking for, and then loses in that manner, man. It's like, oof.
Oh, so it's more upsetting for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. But the fighter I was referencing too, De Los Santos, another Dominican guy who knocked out Rayo Valenzuela. And people were throwing Rayo up there with the likes of like Frank Martin and Rolly and Michel Rivera. And
that's next up.
Yeah. And that guy, Edwin De Los Santos, I didn't know who he was. He had a decent record for like 14-1 going into that fight. I thought it would be close, but then Rayo would like pull away. But he beat the shit out of Rayo, and he wobbled him a lot and hurt him a lot. And but yeah, dude, the Dominicans, man, the Dominican Republic is really coming up with boxers right now. For a while, all they had was like Javier Fortuna, but now they got Carlos Adames, Alberto Puello, Hector Garcia, Miguel Rivera. Even though he just lost, he's still a good
Bronco.
Yeah, Adames. Yeah, that dude needs a title shot at 160, by the way. But yeah,
for real, he should.
Yeah, hell, even Wood Conlon, I think, could be considered an upset. Or,
I mean, technically, by definition, it is.
The other one that just happened in that weight class with fucking the Headbutt King. What's his name? British dude. The guy you and I don't like.
Oh God,
beat Warrington, Josh Warrington.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got lost. And even the guy who just beat him, he's like, no, I don't want to give him a rematch. He's a fucking dirty fighter.
The biggest buzzkill of the year, Conor Ben Eubank.
Or just Conor Ben in general, bro.
Conor Ben in general.
Not to shit on the guy, but
but for real, like, what a buzzkill. Like, that fight, I actually really look forward to.
I didn't.
I thought it would be good.
Oh, man. I don't know. I
thought Eubank win by decision, but I thought it was gonna be a good fight.
I don't know. I thought it was a fucking sideshow attraction.
Eubank watched them?
Probably. Well, I don't know, because he's cutting a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm glad it's not happening.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And now to the big one though, because we all love knockouts, and there's been a bunch this year, a bunch of really good knockouts. And like last year, it was easy for me to pick knockout of the year. Like Oscar Valdez completely milting Miguel Berchelt was one of the crazy, like sickest knockouts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's top 5 of my life.
Yeah, one of the most bizarre, one of the best knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Dude.
Now, I don't think we've seen a knockout on level with that this year, but I can name probably 5 or 6 knockouts that I think could all be knockout of the year. Joey, let's start with you, bro. What was your favorite knockout this year? Except for when you knocked out fucking homeboy, Jesus of Suburbia, fucking with his cardboard sign. What's your favorite knockout of the year?
Tank Davis knocking out Rolando Romero.
That's your favorite knockout of the year?
Yes.
No diss to Rolly, because I know you're cool with Rolly. I know that's your boy, but that was a very good knockout.
Yeah.
Why was that your favorite? What about it made you love that?
It's the reason why, to me, out of all of them, was my favorite is because of the precision that it was. You know, it was a very well-timed shot that you could see Gervonta was looking for it and waiting for it. And he just waited for the right timing, the right moment. Rolando just walked right into it. And, you know, it was a precisely put knockout. It wasn't one of those wild knockouts where, oh man, he's dropped out cold, but it was a knockout that was right there, timed the right way.
Right. And while we're on the subject too, I've stated it multiple times, but a lot of people thought Tank was going to knock him out. And we even had Luke Thomas on this show from Showtime Sports and CBS Sports. Fantastic.
Very cool guy.
And just an extremely talented journalist, man. He's very good at what he does. And I learned a lot just from that short little interview. But he even said, he's like, I think Gervonta Davis is going to do gruesome things to Rolando Romero. And dude, Rolly impressed me very much that night and showed a lot of patience, showed a lot more technique than people thought he had. But then when he got a little careless is when he got caught. But I want to say that Rolando Romero did a lot better than I thought he would. And he did a lot better than a lot of people thought he would. And I want to give him props for that.
And I'll say this. It's a damn shame that PBC didn't capitalize on that and give Rolando more fight dates after that.
Oh, we're going to be bringing Rolly up later in the show. Also, like, by the way,
Rolly can be a star.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Oh, 100%.
Rolando has the potential to be a star.
And I'm going to be bringing his name up later in this show, too, like I said. Also, spoiler alert, keep your eye out for that Rolando Romero interview coming soon from Punchlines.
Yeah.
I might be. I hope that's my Vegas brethren, bro. I got to get him on.
Dude,
Joey, I can't wait to tell Rolly when I was like, yeah, bro, I lived on Jones and Lake Mead, because he's going to be like, what? He's going to be like, what the fuck? You? I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah. I was the only white.
He honestly, he didn't live that far away. He was Rolando lived on Maryland. Actually on Charleston and almost Charleston and Maryland.
Hell yeah. Dude. Yeah. I love Rolly. Like, I don't think he's the best fighter in that weight class by any means, but I fucking love Rolly. But yeah, I didn't like seeing him get knocked out per se, but you are right, Joey. That was a fantastic knockout. Mike, what's your pick? Oh, actually, hold on. I'm sorry. To go back to that fight, a lot of people made way too much out of this than they should have. And Joey, you can definitely attest to this. In the post-fight interview, and by the way, Mike, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
When in the post-fight interview, when Tank said, the crazy thing is I didn't even throw the punch that hard, and then everybody started making fun of Rolly. It's like, oh, Tank didn't even throw it hard, and you still got knocked out. Do you know how many knockout punches aren't thrown that hard? It's just a combination of timing and then the fighter moving into it. Like, most knockout punches, well, I wouldn't say most, but a good portion of them aren't even thrown that hard. They're just thrown perfectly.
A good 80% of your knockout punches, they don't have to be hard. All you have to do is relax yourself, bro. Like, you got to remember, your body, you're transmitting kinetic energy, and you're just letting your body transmit that energy. So when you're punching and you're relaxed, bro, you're honestly more prone to throw harder punches. And I've learned this from Ismael Salas. You know, he was the one that taught me this with the Cuban boxing. Cubans, they're relaxed when they throw, but why do they hit hard? Because they're letting kinetic energy flow through their hands.
Yeah, dude, they throw their hands like water, though. Like, they're so smooth. They're so, you know how I am with the Cubans, bro. I'll be on this motherfucker all day talking about it.
Why do you think Ugas won fight of the year?
Yeah, right. Oh, also, my knockout of the year, Arislandi Lara over Spike O'Sullivan. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, not a bad knockout.
No, that was my favorite Arislandi Lara knockout of the year. But
you love Arislandi Lara.
I do. Oh, Carlos brings it up every time. Every time he's on an episode and somebody brings up Lara, Carlos has to make it known that that's one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Well, I want it known that Miguel Cotto is my number one man ever since you dissed him.
Hey, bro, that's not like, I don't dislike Cotto. It's just he's like, I don't know, like, who's a best?
You don't, but I worship Cotto.
Yeah, and that's fine. People worship like I don't know, what's a good way I can put this? Like, who's another athlete in a different sport I can compare?
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh no, I love Sly. Speaking of Sylvester Stallone, have you guys watched Tulsa King? It's actually a good show.
Yo, I've heard it's fantastic. I haven't watched it yet.
It's really good.
I've heard it's very good.
If you want time to kill and you just need a chill, Joey, like, or Mike, you'd like it too. Like it's a very good show. It's fucking, and he shits on Oklahoma, which I'm always down for.
My ring's outside.
Yeah, bro, I have an Expendables tattoo right here, bro. I love Sly.
No, I'll get a Rocky tattoo right now.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Go ahead. What's our next category?
Well, what's your knockout of the year?
All right, mine's gonna be unpopular. I'm gonna go Caleb Plant. I think.
No, that's not unpopular. That's very popular.
Yeah. You sure?
Oh, 100%.
Well, then for me, yeah, I think it's no doubt. I think Caleb Plant won coming off the loss, not only being lost, but he got knocked out. He came back. I mean, I'm a big Caleb Plant fan, so like we all knew how talented he was, but no one saw that pop. Jarrell, close fight, tight fight, pop, night. No one saw that one-shot power from Caleb Plant before. He delivered it. For me, that's the one-shot knockout of the year.
And he delivered it beautifully.
Not just that, but even after the knockout, the whole bury him.
Oh, dude,
that was funny, and that was great for the show. You know what I mean?
Because what you said about the Wood Conlon fight, Mike, how it had everything for fight of the year, the Caleb Plant Darrell knockout had everything for knockout of the year because there was bad blood in that fight.
How close that fight was, dude. Darrell looked good. Darrell came to win.
Darrell did come to win, but I still think
Darrell fought off. Like, dude, like I'm a Darrell, like both Darrells. Like the one Darrell got robbed by Froch, earned his like respect. Both the Darrells have always been there, but like they were never like shined. Caleb Plant didn't knock out a watch fighter. He knocked out a game legit champion contender coming off a knockout loss. For me, everything there, I think it's knockout of the year.
And the sickest boxing shoes of all time that didn't have the Adams logo on it.
Oh, the Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, dude, that shit was dope.
Dude, Caleb Plant's a bad man. And like, I mean, we'll get to next year, but like he's there. He's a part of it.
No, I love Caleb Plant. Everybody knows
I love him too. He's a great fighter.
And I like his new coach a lot too, Breadman. And that's my personal knockout of the year as well. But there's been so like the very next fight was Deontay Wilder, and on his fourth punch, almost killed a man, and from like with a punch that was like this long. And I was even because that was Marcus from over at Ohio Runs Boxing. Shout out to him. That was his knockout of the year, was Wilder versus Hellenius. And one thing I brought up too that a lot of people didn't give, because the fight was so quick, but Wilder's movement and like showing his athleticism that he has was fantastic, that fight. And something that we haven't really seen too much of him. So I was happy to see that. You also had Joe Cordina knocking out the Japanese guy.
That was my runner-up.
Yeah, that shit was disgusting.
Was my runner-up. And then that was like the whole like light switch of the whole fuck, it's over.
Right. And then of course the same fight that you brought up earlier, the Lee Wood Michael Conlon knockout, was frightening to say the least. But yeah, that is our of the year awards for 2022, and you're 8 minutes from 2023 right now over where you're at, Mike. So in 2023, we're looking, hopefully, you know, we've already taken some L's, you know, with Charlo pulling out of the Tim Tszyu fight, and the Tank Davis fight almost got called off.
It still might.
Yeah. We still don't know what's happening with Bud and Spence. Oh, also Bud's knockout was fucking awesome too against Avanasian.
True.
What's a fight that we already know is happening, whether it's reported or not, or whether it's reported or signed, but like we're at least 90% sure it's happening? What fight are you most looking forward to?
All right, so I will say this. A week ago, it was no doubt Charlo Tszyu. I think I love that fight, but Jamel broke his hands. So now we're kind of sitting here wondering, all right, where do we sit? the best fight right now that's on the books, and I know will happen.
Oh, dude, this one's easy for me.
You think?
Oh, for me, 100%.
For me, it would be like Lubin Fundora too, but like
Nobody brought that up.
No one.
I didn't know that. No, a fight that we know is happening. A fight
that is happening for sure.
Yeah.
Tank Ryan Davis.
Tank and Garcia?
Yeah,
Ryan Garcia?
Tank and Garcia, my bad. Yeah,
no, you're
Tank
good. Ryan Davis is a comedian, actually.
Yeah, that's not bad. Tank and Ryan Garcia. But yeah, then in that case, the one that we know is going to happen, yeah, it's easy decision. It's got to be Tank and Ryan.
Interesting. I mean, that's a great fight to be excited for. I'm excited for it, but that's not my pick. Joey, what about you?
I want to say Inoue versus Rickendale.
Is that fight for sure happening?
Yeah, it's a fight that's for sure happening. They're finishing negotiations right now. Top Rank is finishing negotiations for that fight.
Didn't Rickendale just lose again, though?
Yep, to a nobody.
That's crazy to me. Maybe.
I'll tell you what, how about Taylor Catterall?
I'm not really looking forward to it, man. I'm off the Josh Taylor train. I don't really like the guy anymore.
Yeah, but he's gonna be Catterall.
Yeah, I think he'll do better in the rematch. But
yeah, so do I.
Damn, dude, Joey, that's crazy. I did not know Rigo and Inoue were fighting.
Inoue, yeah, they're already working on that for 2023.
If Rigo is focused, he can win that fight. If Rigo
this is what people don't understand about Rickendale.
Rickendale a year ago.
Yeah,
was a guy that was like beating people like Nonito Donaire when Donito was like really pretty close. He was closer to his prime than where he is right now. And he beat Rickendale beat him with like 16, 15 accurate punches in a round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was out throwing the guy, but all he needed to do, he pretty much landed every punch that he threw in that fight.
He's got to do that against Inoue, though, because Inoue is not going to stop. And
Inoue is a monster. He has power, bro. His power is monstrous, you know. And my respect, bro, 100% to Nonito. You know, I've been in the gym and training camps when he was training with Salas with Nonito, and I learned a lot from him. But man, he just got dominated, bro. It's you know, it's the end of an era for a great fighter, and a new one's getting born.
Yeah, and I am really excited for it if that happens. But Inoue's so good, man. But my personal pick for the fight that I'm most excited for that we know is happening, Caleb Plant, David Benavidez.
That is a great fight. Yeah.
That's a great pick.
That's not only because this is what I love about it too. It's two guys that I think are top 4 in their weight class, maybe top 3.
Yeah.
It's not for a belt, and they fucking hate each other. They're just fighting because David Benavidez wants that big fight. He doesn't care who it's against. Caleb Plant wants to get a belt back, and he wants that rematch with Canelo. And he even said, he's like, I'll fight whoever it takes to get me there. And
guess what? You know, who is your favorite in that fight?
I think the favorite.
I can tell you,
it's gonna be David.
David's the favorite. David's the favorite. Who do you like?
Oh man, this is like a legit 50-50. I have to check my bias at the door because everybody knows I love Plant.
I think Caleb outboxes him for like 8 rounds, but I think he might get out of there in the late rounds.
You see though, but I agree with you though. I can definitely see that I don't want to admit it, but I can see that happening. I think it's realistic to admit that. But
from me seeing Caleb Plant in his sparrings personally, when he was training at City Athletics, when he goes to Vegas, I've seen him spar.
Well, he lives in Vegas now.
Yeah. And one of the things where he gets dominated at real easy is when he gets pressured. And what does David Benavidez bring is straight up pressure.
Right. But he brings pressure against guys that aren't. I don't think he's fought anybody as fast, precise, or technical as Plant.
That's true. That I'll give you that. That is very true. But at the same time, they might be like that. But remember this, there's a lot of fighters that they might be technical, they might be nice, but they can't bring the technique or bring that nice boxing out because they're forced into a slugfest with a pressure fighter.
Right.
Or a pressure fighter that can take it. Like, he won't care if he's down 4 rounds to nothing going into the 5th. If he's cutting them off and like planting his body shots, like, forget Gavril. We all know how good Plant is. I'm picking Plant here. But can Plant be that pretty and be outboxing for 12 rounds? I don't know.
Okay, all right, but here's my argument to that too, though. So we really, other than the Gavril fight, which was a fight where David probably didn't take seriously, and he was probably out partying too,
and lost.
I would have to go back and watch it. I remember it being very close, but I think I had.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the second fight pretty much nullified the Gavril argument. You know,
100%.
It was almost like when Glenn Johnson fought Chad Dawson, and a lot of people thought Glenn Johnson should have won, and then the rematch happened, and we're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. No, agreed.
But we haven't seen David really face adversity like that. We have seen Caleb face it a few times, even in the Canelo fight when he was facing adversity. Going into that round that he got knocked out in, he was still very much in that fight, and a lot of people had him ahead in that fight. And as good as he looked against Jarrell, that was still only his very first fight with Breadman. So now that it's his second fight with Breadman, and a lot of people think Caleb Plant's cocky. Caleb Plant is confident as fuck. He's not cocky.
No, dude.
He takes the sport fucking serious.
First off, bro, like, he fought Canelo. He gave his heart out. He took no break. And before we go anywhere else, I gotta say Happy New Year, fellas.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year,
we
brother.
are here, midnight on the East Coast. But Caleb Plant lost to Canelo, and he got stopped. So what did he do? He went back. He fought Darrell, a hungry contender, knocked him out clean, knockout of the year. I think he's a better boxer than Benavidez, but
100%.
Now
100%.
I'm gonna give you
but
this.
Can he be perfect for 12 rounds? I don't know. I really think that Benavidez is underrated in how he cuts off the ring and he bullies you.
One thing I will give to Caleb Plant, and it was something that really impressed me, was that he was able to capitalize on the advice Floyd gave him against Canelo. And not just that, demonstrate that he has one of the best head movements in that weight class.
Great upper body movement and
he's got
footwork.
Yeah, dude, the guy's an athlete. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's young, man.
Yeah, he's my age. He's like 30, I think.
He's younger than us, dude. I mean, that dude's he's a big, strong. He's in his prime. He loves cocaine. Fuck. I mean, when you made the sale, stop selling.
Wait, does he love cocaine?
He got busted for cocaine, bro. I'm my man.
Oh, David. Yeah. Shout out to him. Shout out to cocaine too. By the way,
we love that shit.
Y'all need Jesus, bro.
Oh man. Hey. Yeah, that's my pick though for the fight that I'm definitely most excited to seeing. Now, here comes the part every boxing fan has one, and it's like the story of boxing pretty much. What fight that isn't rumored to be made or there's no contract talks or nothing, but what is a matchup that you most want to see made in 2023 for boxing, Joey?
Man,
the easy pick is Crawford Spence, but that was our pick last year. It was also our pick the year before.
Yeah, I'm skipping that too.
Yeah, that's just
I'm skipping that.
You know what? I want to say Crawford versus Charlo
at 154.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a very good
one. Tell you what, that's not bad.
One of my other picks too. It's not my main pick, but especially, I mean, I made the video for it. I want to see Charlo versus Harrison 3. I want the rubber match.
All right. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
We all know Jamel broke his hand. I want to see Tim Tszyu versus Danny Garcia.
Really?
I do.
Huh.
I would love to see it. I think it'd be
I
a
wouldn't
great
mind
fight.
seeing it. I wouldn't
I
mind.
think it'd be a great fight.
Bro, there's so many good fights at 154 that can be made.
154 is a gold mine.
Yeah, and the PBC does nothing with it. Unless it's the championship. I fucking hate it. But yeah,
like Tim Tszyu versus Danny Garcia, dude, I'm there. Take my money.
You know what? Also, potential me second best would be Devin Haney against Tank Davis.
yeah, or Shakur. That's a very
great
much
fight.
possible fight. Devin Haney.
Apparently, we're getting Devin versus Lomachenko in the first half.
Yeah, that was Carlos's pick for the fight. He's most excited for.
That's a great fight. And guess what? I always pick Lomachenko, but I think Devin's flirting with underrated right now.
I've been in there with Devin in the ring sparring, and I can tell you Devin has a high boxing IQ. But I don't think he's on Lomachenko's level with the footwork. The way Loma dominates. A lot of people after this Jaime Ortiz performance with Lomachenko, they kind of were disappointed. But you're talking to a guy that was not fighting for almost a year and was out in the war fighting for his country, came back and had a win over a tough fighter that had been one of the top prospects. You know what I mean? So,
right. And I like that guy too. That Lomachenko fight.
Ortiz.
Yeah, I can never say his first name. I'm really
bad. Jaime.
That's how you say it? Okay.
Yeah, Jaime.
Yeah. That dude's even saying, fuck it, I'll fight Shakur. I like that kid a lot, man. He's a gamer, but I'm really looking forward to that Haney and Lomachenko fight. And I agree with you. I think Haney and Tank would be a great fight. I think Haney Shakur would be a great fight. I think Tank Shakur would be a great fight. But even like another pick that I've had too, and I think it's possible because I'm pretty sure they both have the same manager and Luis de Cubis, and they're both in the same weight class, and they're both at kind of like a crossroads point. I think Yordenis Ugas versus Mario Barrios is a fucking fantastic fight.
Yes.
But, and I love Mario. I'm very cool with him, but I love Ugas too. But my actual pick for this fight, or for this category, for the fight that I most want to see made that we don't know about yet, and we talked about it earlier, and I said I'd bring him up earlier. If you can match up any of these three fighters in any way, I would love it. And it's Isaac Cruz, Frank Martin, and Rolly. Those three guys, if any of those three guys fight each other, I would fucking love that. I think those are three great fights that you could have. Yeah,
those are three dog fights. That's what you call them. Three dog fights.
Especially, I think the best fight for your money is Rolly versus Cruz.
Yes.
And I think the best fight for the division would be Frank versus Cruz.
And I would look at it as the best out of the winner out of Rolando and Isaac Cruz should get a rematch at Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, or even fight Martin for a title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and you know what? Shout out to Frank Martin too, man, because that guy went on a tear and he has firmly planted himself in the 135-pound picture. He elevated himself. He went from prospect to rising contender to a legitimate title contender in 1 year. And to digress a little bit to the prospect category, we're going to move to prospects now. Who's a prospect in the sport that you most look forward to seeing improve or seeing move forward in this year? Mike, let's start with you. I think I already know your answer because I saw it on Facebook, but who's a guy that you really want to see take the next step forward this year?
I'm a big Frank Martin fan, but I don't even know if you can consider Boots a prospect anymore. But
no, he's not. He's a legitimate contender.
No. So for me, it's Frank Martin. I mean, the way he was so dominant, I mean, you got to go with him. And he's got the.
Well, I think he's a contender too because he just fought for a title eliminator. I'm talking about guys who have like 10 or less fights.
Ooh.
Because I remember
Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah,
Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah,
Keyshawn Davis.
Keyshawn's
I think
really good.
Keyshawn's got the Olympic pedigree. We've seen it. We've seen it at the pro level now. We've seen him at like a contender level. He's been almost untouchable, and he's still there. Like for me, like Shakur was like, yeah, he was built out to be the next like Floyd, the next Roy Jones. But Keyshawn's under the radar, and he's the next one up. I think he's like he's good enough to be legit, like Andre Ward, like level talent.
Yeah, and I think too what takes away from him, because when Shakur got brought in, it was Shakur. Shakur didn't have a lot of these other prospects that Top Rank was building around him, at least not in my memory. And right now with Keyshawn and what Top Rank's doing, and I love that they're doing it, by the way, they have so many young guys, so many prospects, but they're promoting the fuck out of them. And they're because you got Keyshawn, you got Tiger Johnson, you got Big Baby Anderson, Richard Torres, Troy Isley, Shushu Carrington, and they do a really good job of promoting all of them and highlighting them all at a young age to start building them as stars now until they become contenders. And I fucking love to see it. And Shakur didn't really have that. Keyshawn does, so he kind of gets not lost in the mix, but he's put in the mix. But he's definitely the most talented out of all of them, except for maybe Big Baby. But yeah, I'm excited to see him move forward as well. He's not far from a title shot, by any means. Joey, what about you?
My favorite prospect of the year, honestly, I want to say Emiliano Vargas.
God damn it, Joey.
Emiliano Vargas is one of the top prospects in my opinion. You know, I've seen that kid and trained with them and his brothers when I was an amateur, and I've seen that little kid, man, put in work, and for him to be at the spotlight he's getting to right now and to have the promotion he has behind him, he's been putting in that work, man. That's all I can say. You can expect bigger things from him than you saw from his dad.
And you know what though? Maybe not on the same level, but you could definitely speak to this because you know all of them very well. But Fernando Jr. has improved so much, and he
big
looks,
time.
and Amato as well.
Yes, you know, and I've been in the ring several times with Fernando Jr., Vargas Jr., and man, I can tell you that every time I went in there with him, I can see he's worked on different things. The last time I sparred with him, bro, he pretty much he looked like a complete different fighter that I've ever seen, you know. And now seeing him fight in the fights that he's getting in, the way he's dominating the boxing with the opponents that he has, he's doing phenomenal. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and Amato doesn't get the credit he deserves too, because he gets kind of lost out of the other two, but Amato has really, really improved as well. And I don't think they're kind of moving his career along slower than the other two, which, you know, a lot of people say that's not fair, you know, but it is, because you don't want to rush that kid into a fight and then ruin his career. If you know, his dad knows what he's doing, if his dad wants, so I think it's good to take it slow with him.
I'm gonna tell you, the brains behind the three Vargas kids is Marta Vargas, and I can tell you one thing about their mom. Their mom, when it comes to boxing marketing, to boxing in general, she has great brains, great boxing IQ. Just like the dad. The dad knows because he's been in the business, you know. But the mom, from a management aspect, she's been around from the outside, seeing what was going on in Fernando Senior's life. And now the way she's managing her kids and allowing everything to go and moving it, you know, it's phenomenal. She's doing everything that she used to talk about when we were in the gym and we were little. It's happening with her kids.
Yeah, and they've all got ambassadorship deals with Adams. Emiliano's going to have his own custom boot come out. Yeah, it's really cool to see, and it's really cool to see that Fernando is actually taking care of them and everything, but just the boxing with the marketing and everything like that. Emmy was my pick as well, but I have a 1A, 1B pick. My 1B pick is Trevon Marshall, the sniper. He fights at 150. He fights at 154. He's out of the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. The dude is very talented. He looks like he's very similar to Jerome Boots Ennis. except for the fact that he doesn't switch stances, but he's got power, he's got accuracy, he's sharp. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that guy step up. He actually fights this weekend on the Tank card. And our last category here, a fighter who's not a champion right now, but you think by the end of 2023 they will be. Joey, what about you? Who do you got?
Frank Sanchez.
Frank Sanchez. You think he gets
Frank
a heavyweight
Sanchez.
belt? Okay.
Yes, I do look at him, man, and that guy, like I said, when he first, this is the funny thing. When me and Frank first met, I was training with Salas, and he was training, getting Jorge Linares ready for a fight against Luke Campbell. When Frank Sanchez came to the gym, Salas started training him. He maybe spent like 2 weeks. Salas wasn't really paying attention to him, you know, because he had a lot of champions at the time. And they knew he was a great fighter. They knew he was a good fighter, but they weren't giving him the attention they needed to give him. So he ended up going with Coach Bullet, which is Rolando Romero's trainer. He trained with Coach Bullet for about a year and a half. I was in that training camp with them too, that whole year with them. And when he moved to Florida and they signed him over there after he was done working with Richard Steele's promotion and over there in Las Vegas, they moved him and they placed him into that camp with where he is with Eddie Reynoso. And man, I can tell you that guy has improved like crazy, but he's always had that championship fight in him, that championship potential in him. And you know, people don't look at him yet because he's not up there. They haven't given him a shot with any big name at the one with the heavyweight division, but
he dominated F.A. Ajagba.
Oh yeah.
And Ajagba was the guy that they were moving along to be like, he was supposed to be the next big thing. Mm-hmm. And then they matched him up with Frank Sanchez, and Frank Sanchez was like, nah, son.
I didn't pick Sanchez in that fight.
I think I might have. I thought I had it close. But he outclassed Ajagba. And I
thought Ajagba was going to win the fight.
I don't know if I agree with you, Joey, in him winning a belt for the simple fact that heavyweight's kind of log jammed over with Fury and Usyk. But I definitely could see him, maybe not 2023, but by 2024 for sure. Not because of talent and not because, but just because of
the politics and everything going on.
135, 154, 147, and heavyweight are really, and 168 are really hard for people to win a belt because the titles are all held up in big name guys who are not willing to give fights to these lower name guys.
You know, like another fighter that could be a champion, but they won't give him the chance. And you had him not too long ago, you know, it's, oh man, Blair the Flair.
Yeah, they don't want to.
Blair the Flair, great entertaining fighter. You don't know what to expect from him when you go into a fight. You just know it's gonna be a good fight, you know. But again, Ennis and a lot of the people at 147, they won't give him the opportunity to fight. I heard, and this is from people that are real well connected. I heard that he was supposed to be the mandatory for Crawford before Crawford decided to fight that David guy.
You talking about Blair?
Yeah.
No, Blair told Mike.
He told us that. Yeah.
He told us Crawford turned the fight down. Like Blair was the first name that got brought up, and Crawford turned it down.
Yeah, Blair, and I've heard it not just from him, I've heard it from different people that he was a mandatory for Crawford, and that fight didn't happen.
Yeah, another one of those guys too is like Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Adames. I could see him but like, who's going to give him a title shot?
Yeah.
Jamal Charlo is going to come back. Jamal Charlo is going to fight fucking Sergio Garcia. That's who his next fight's going to be. Cooke, who's the guy? Cooke, who's the guy right now that doesn't have a belt, but by the end of 2023, you think he could?
Now, again, you have to play the politics. I think at welterweight, there's no way in hell that even if they don't fight, Spence ain't gonna be at welterweight after 147. I think Boots and it might be either one of them now. I gotta go Boots.
Yeah, I think if Boots gets a title shot at Spence or Crawford, I'm gonna get crucified for saying this. I think he beats them both. And
There's
that's
no one I picked. There's no one I picked to beat him.
no, not at 147,
I agree.
not at 154 either. I'm gonna get a lot
Yeah,
of shit
I
for
think
that,
Boots is the answer.
he just has to get the title shot. And then once again,
He's incredible.
And I've slobbed on the dude's knob long enough on this show, but fucking, I'm a big Boots Ennis fan. I can't hide it. But I have an unpopular pick for this, and people forget that he no longer has a belt, even though he's undefeated. But my pick is Jaime Munguia.
Yeah.
At 160.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a belt right now. I think he gets the Golovkin fight.
I mean, they're all vacant, right?
No, Golovkin has a belt. So does
He has
Charlo.
2.
Yeah, and I think because they're both on the DAZN side, I think Golovkin has expressed interest. DAZN has expressed interest. Fuck Eddie Hearn, by the way, if what you told me earlier is true. But
yeah, respect to Eddie Hearn for that.
Yeah, you gotta respect him. But if Jaime gets the Golovkin fight, I think he beats Golovkin. But
Golovkin, here's the thing: 5 years ago, Golovkin beat him bloody, but
okay, but you know what though? All right, hey, go back and watch the Munguia fight against Saddam Ali or Liam Smith. If you watch him fight now, it's a completely different fighter. The dude has improved leaps and bounds,
and he's still young.
Like, his hands are higher, his jab is better, his footwork's way better, his movement's way better. He has improved so much in such a short amount of time. And Joey, I think that's a fighter you should watch because you guys fight very similarly. I'm not gonna lie. And okay. I think you could take a lot from his game because he gets hated on a lot. And I'll be the first to tell you, Oscar protects his fighters, and Jaime's no exception. But that's not Jaime's choice. If it's up to Jaime would fight Charlo. Jaime would fight Bronco. Jaime would fight Golovkin. And I don't know if he wins all those fights, but he's competitive in all of them.
Yeah.
No, but Mike, it's late for you. It's late for all of us. I love you guys. I was glad to have you back on. Jesus Christ.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have you guys on here again. Hopefully to co-host some other interviews for me. Mike for sure. I got some interviews coming up I'd want you guys to be a part of. But thanks for joining me on this end of year show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Hey.
2023 is a great year for all of us, for the podcast, for Mike, for Joey's career, for boxing. I always have so much fun with you two, man. But yeah, let's get it on, as Mills Lane would say.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, baby. R.I.P. to him. R.I.P. My old boxing coach actually died a few weeks ago. R.I.P. to him. He's also Carlos's old coach, which is one of the main reasons I got this partnership. So I'm very indebted to that man, not just for giving me some of the best years of my life, the few years that I was able to box, something I always wanted to do. And he was my coach, and he actually helped me get better and took the time to help me get better. But I would not be where I'm at without him, and I would not love the sport as much as I do without him, when it was already a sport that I love dearly. He made me love it more because he made me a part of it. And I haven't publicly made any statements about it on Instagram or anything, just because I just felt wrong. But I still owe it to him because he gave me more time than he should have. And it's something I'm forever grateful for. And that's why I just give all to this sport, is because it's boxing. As you guys will know, boxing will break your heart time and time again, but it'll never make you stop loving it, and it's just, I'm talking to two people. I'm talking to possibly two of the only people on the planet that love this sport more than I do, and so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, but I can't wait to talk some more fights with you guys. I can't, hopefully watch more fights with you guys.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, dude, let's make 2023 the best one yet. Mike, I can't wait to have you on for some more co-hosting spots. I need to give you a rundown of the fighters we got going on. Joey, I can't wait to cover your fights some more. And
can't wait for you guys to be seeing me fighting on ESPN. You know what I mean, or the Zone. So,
bro, or Showtime or DAZN.
yeah, any of them, bro. You know what I mean. Been offered some big fights last year. You know, in 2022. I can't wait for the fights that this year is gonna bring. So,
By the way, do you have any sponsors you want to shout out?
well, 16-3 Cake Studio, Ghost Town Gladiators, my promotional company. You know, I give them big shout outs. Those are the two biggest supporters right now that are behind my career. So always shout out to them. And I appreciate everything they do for me. You know what I mean? I want to give big shout out to my people of Colorado, mi gente de Puerto Rico y mi gente linda de Mexico.
Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. Are you still with True Victory by chance?
Yes, I'm actually with True Victory. A big shout out to True Victory. You know what I mean? If you guys are looking for some sick gear, some great workout gear that is fashionable yet comfortable, go check out True Victory, veteran owned, one of the best gears that you're gonna get for your training sessions.
Hey, and you're not lying, because first of all, I'm not sponsored by True Victory. I'm not. And I'm not even technically supposed to be shouting them out because they're another clothing company. But Jason, the owner, was very kind enough to send me some free t-shirts and a hoodie. And Joey's not lying. They're like dry fit material. They fit well. They're comfortable. They look clean. I work out in them. They're very comfortable. They're very affordable. I don't really say this for most companies, but it is worth it. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mike, go take care of your son. Happy New Year, man. I love you guys.
Happy years, Mike.
Hey, thank you guys so much for coming on. All right.
I love you guys too, man. God bless you guys, bro. Let's make this 2023 our year, bro.
Bro, hey,
let's do it, bro.
Look at it, bro. Dude, like, it's so crazy. It was just last year. I was literally sitting in a folding chair in an apartment in Vegas. And now, bro, I'm fucking sponsored and shit, bro. Guys, hey. Oh, Mike, do you have time to do an ad read? Do you guys have time to do an ad read with me?
Yeah.
Hit me.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording. Hold on real quick. I need to edit this out. All right, guys, I've been your host, Shay McMurdo. This has been the Punchlines End of Year Award Show with my friends Michael Cooke and Joey Borrero. Great year for boxing. Another great year coming up. Look forward to doing more interviews with these guys. Please follow the channel, like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment your IG handle for a chance to win a pair of Adams boots. Been a great 2022. I can't wait to make 2023 better for all of us. We're out.